Afternoon, Paul. What will be some of the markers you look for in Pierre-Luc's game? He plays for the first time in almost 3 weeks here.
Um, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time critiquing this game because he's gone a block of time without playing one. New wingers, new partners. So I'll just look for simple individual reads in a couple of our systems. I'll be, I'm not going to talk to him a whole lot on the bench. We'll make some minor corrections. And then I just want him to play. I just want him to feel the game, and we can get to know each other a little bit, and then I can find the right people for him to play with as we move forward. So this one will be certainly watched by all of you. I won't weight it too heavily in terms of where he's at.
I'll go right back to Ken Wiebe. Go ahead, Weber.
Paul, what stood out about the mini series, and also how does the dynamic change when Backlund is rolling the way that he was on Saturday against Edmonton?
Well, he can do both, right? So when he gets going, he's a real fine defender, and they've used him in that role for a long time. And then when those guys get feeling it, they can do a lot more offensively with the puck. So they've had a pretty strong defense first mentality here, and he's a big part of that backbone when you get that guy. And it's a little bit like our Lowry line. When these guys get feeling it and putting pucks in the net, it's a huge help because a lot of times they're playing against the other team's best. So you're hoping they can break even, and you're very excited when they win the battle.
Go next to Mike McIntyre from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks, Gregor. Thanks, Paul. Just want to ask you a bigger picture question here, Paul. I think you joked just prior to the season starting that up here in Canada, we're probably not going to pay attention to much of what's going on outside of Canada in the league. I just wonder, now that we're about a month into this new season, do you find as a coach yourself, are you paying as much attention to the other three divisions as you might normally in a season, given that you're not going to play any of these teams?
No, you don't. I haven't. I mean, you still watch it. I've got, close friends that coach in the league, so I'm always watching their teams. But because they're not coming up on a pre-scout, right, your time is used elsewhere. So the fact that you see these teams a couple times a year, you end up watching them a lot more, and you stay really in tune with the rest of the league. I haven't. We've gotten so wired in, and it's going to become even more true in March. I think we got 28 games in 52 days, something like that. I probably won't see a game outside our division in that, because on your off days, you're watching, you're playing one of your other teams in your division soon. So you're always watching just your own division every chance you can.
I'll go next to Ted Wyman from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Ted.
Hey, Paul, what impact does having a new player in the lineup like Pierre-Luc have on the rest of the team? Do you look for a certain energy to come out of that? And how does that balance with the adjustments that they make?
Yeah, I think there's always a new energy. It's kind of like a show and tell day, right? Like, it's not just Pierre-Luc coming in and everybody will watch him. These guys are all proud guys, and they're going to want to show the new guy what they do and what we do. So there's a little extra energy usually built into that. And they'll watch him, right? They'll watch him close, try to figure out what kind of player he is. So there's a certain, I don't know if intensity is the right word, but there's definitely a focus on that player, but even by the guys on their bench and he's obviously going to want to show what he can do. And then, so it's a good story. It's an exciting time for him and for us.
And we'll go next back to Mike McIntyre from the Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Paul, I was on the Zoom earlier with Jeff Ward, and he was actually asked about Patty Laine and John Tortorella last night in Columbus. And he gave his take on just coaching younger players and, that blend sometimes of maybe tough love versus kid gloves. I just wonder, what's your take on how to treat a guy as a younger player and maybe a new player to try and get him going
No. So the problem with me answering that question is I'm going to get attached to that situation because he played here. So I'll answer that question in a month, 2-3 weeks from now, when it won't be so topical.
And final question to Ken Wiebe from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weber.
Paul, when it comes to Kristian Vesalainen, I mean, how would you describe the opportunity for him, and how can you also describe the importance of him playing the way that he did on the fourth line, but now having the opportunity to play with a couple more skilled players. And we've seen it with Andrew Kopp before, and
Yeah.
you don't want to get away from your identity, but you still want to show
Right.
that you can make some plays.
Right. And so he's earned this opportunity by his training camp. He came back and he's a completely different player in, I don't know if you had seen it, like he took 2 big hits in training camp in the scrimmages, you know, bounced right back up and got right back into the play. He's physically stronger. We know he's got some hands and we know he can shoot the puck. And then all of these guys got to come in. They got to be able to do the basics, right? So for me, he's proven that in his fourth line time, he can do those basics now, what the game demands. And you know, so this is the next phase of growth. I'm not saying he's staying there all year. It's actually up to him. So now he's got to go out and play his game without trying to give Stastny and Wheeler the puck all the time. And I want this guy shooting the puck. And what's great is, listening to Stastny and Wheeler talk to him about plays during practice. And that's the message he's getting. You shoot that puck, we'll go get it, right? You put that puck in deep, we'll go get it. Don't force that play into us because we're covered. So play the game the right way and don't try to keep us happy. So he's going in with the 2 right guys, both veteran guys, both remember being rookie, understand it, but both skilled guys that can make some plays. So I wanted to make sure Kristian felt that we respected the work he did. He's come back a different player this year. And in some ways, it's a little bit like Logan Stanley, right? They did the work this summer. They earned it in training camp. And I am excited to see him play, you know, a few more minutes with a different style of player.